Jessica.
And I'm Rico.
And this is ATC Presents Daebak K-Rambles, where a couple of friends review Korean dramas. And we are back! The dynamic duo! What is up, Rico?
Oh, I'm doing well. I was cramming as much as my free time within the last 2 weeks to watch this show that we're going to talk about today. It was tough because, as you know, my schedule is just, kind of crazy. So, I basically wake up, put on the show for an episode, get ready for work, and go. And then when I come back home, watch an episode, go to sleep. And that's pretty much what my life has been the last couple of weeks.
And then you eat at some point, and
Yeah. There's moments where I can eat and shower. Thank God that
like a human.
Yeah, like a human. I'm glad that I'm allowed to do those things. But so this show, I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Yeah, sure. Me too. It's so good to have you back. We've been having guests on the show pretty much nonstop since you said you couldn't do the show. And I have been having a lot of fun basically by myself. And I'm really excited to basically get at it again, like with you on the show. I have had such a weekend because first of all, I got my booster shot on Saturday, and I have been laid up with cup body, fever, all this stuff. Wasn't feeling good. Finally starting to feel okay. Cup body, which is a translation from Spanish, cuerpo cortado.
Right.
Which is just like when you have body aches.
Yes.
But I always translate it cup body anyway. And then we had the Grammys yesterday. We're recording this the day after the Grammys.
Right.
And BTS performed.
Hey.
It was amazing. Lovely. Taehyung completely took TikTok and the internet by surprise with his little skit with Olivia Rodrigo. I don't think I've sent you that yet, but I will. Don't worry.
Okay.
It was a lot to handle. And then today I'm reeling because Big Bang made their comeback.
Oh.
Do you know Big Bang,
yes,
right?
I'm aware
with
of
GD
Big
and
Bang.
T.O.P. and oh my God. So I have been listening to that song nonstop today. I'm on an emotional high, emotional roller coaster. And what's up?
Didn't I read just recently that BTS is going to have to take a break because they have to serve in the military?
Yeah. Every Korean male has to serve in the military, and they kind of keep fudging the laws for BTS because they're like a cultural asset at this point. But they have to serve in the military. It's mandatory. So the way the headlines make it seem like, they have to go in the military, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
but it's not going to be like
everybody does.
It's not going to be like they're going to see combat. They're just in the military.
Korea's still at war, technically.
That's a good point.
They will have to serve, and it's just a part of life over there. I don't think that the West really understands that basically they don't have a volunteer military like we do.
Yeah, you have to serve.
You have to serve.
Israel has that as well because Gal Gadot.
Right. Yeah, Gal Gadot is in the Israeli military. So anyway, that's beside the point. We made a nice big tangent because of my weekend was so full. But anyway, and BTS is in the headlines every other day.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, before we get into our show, we got some housekeeping. If this is your first time listening, thank you so much for pressing play. Please go ahead and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many more. And if you like us, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That goes such a long way for other listeners to find us just like you.
Go ahead and check us out on social media to stay up to date on our latest episodes and reviews. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at ATC Daebak Pod. Also, lastly, if you're a fan, please consider becoming a patron. It's a great way for you to get involved and show your support on the show. I am having a hard time saying that phrase. If you listen to an episode of our other podcast, you'll notice I had a hard time saying the phrase. But you can check out our page at patreon.com/alwayscriticpod. That is our first podcast, Always Critic Podcast. And so you can help support this show there as well.
All right. Now, with all the housekeeping out of the way, do you want to read the Asian wiki synopsis for Beyond Evil?
Yes, let me go ahead and read it. So, from the Asian wiki, Lee Dong-sik was once a capable detective. He now works at the Manyang police substation in his small hometown. One day, the young detective Han Ju-won is transferred to the same police substation. He is assigned to work as Lee Dong-sik's boss and also his partner. Han Ju-won is an elite detective and comes from a distinguished background. His father has a good chance of becoming the next chief at the National Police Agency. Han Ju-won also has a secret. A serial murder case takes place in a small, peaceful city. The case is the same serial murder case that took place 20 years ago and changed Lee Dong-sik's life. The two detectives work to catch the killer. That is the synopsis of this show.
Thank you very much, Rico. This show aired from February to April 2021. It is 16 episodes long, and it's currently on Netflix. That's where we watched it. It was directed by Sim Na-young, and she is a female director who directed At 18 and School of Hip Hop. I have never seen either of those, never even heard of those. It was written by Kim Soo Jin, is a male screenwriter, and he wrote Mad Dog from 2017 with Woo Do-hwan, My Only Love Song from 2017, which is also on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. And he wrote Weightlifting Fairy Kim Bok-ju from 2017, which is amazing. One of the best dramas I've ever seen. It's a sports like romance drama of like their college years. It stars, Beyond Evil stars, Shin Ha-Kyeon as Lee Dong-sik. He's been in like 36 movies, including Room Number 7 with Dio from EXO, Do Kyung-soo, The Villainous, The Thieves. I think you can sense a theme that he's kind of in these like crime, gangster, dark movies.
Yeah.
He was also in The Thieves, which is a heist movie from 2012. That has an all-star cast. I would highly recommend watching The Thieves just for this cast. It stars Kim Hae-soo. That's our homegirl from Signal.
From Signal. Nice.
Lee Jung-jae, which is he's from Squid Game most recently. Gianna Jun from My Love from Another Star and Legend of the Blue Sea. She's iconic. Kim So Hyun from My Love from Another Star. There you go. Lots of big names in that movie. And this Beyond Evil also stars Jin-Goo as Han Ju-won. He's been in like 13 movies so far, including Hwayi, a Monster Boy, which is an action suspense thriller with an all-star cast as well. So that movie has Cho Jin-moon from Signal, Yoo Yeon-suk from Hospital Playlist as well. That's Doc Andreas for those who don't know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Jin-Goo also has 25 shows under his belt. He plays basically the young version of nearly every major actor because when he was a child, he was basically a child actor. And you know how there's always flashback scenes, always time jumps and all that stuff in the K-dramas. He was always the younger version of major stars. So these are he was like Han Jung-woo's young version in I Missed You. He was Lee-hwan's younger version in The Moon Embracing the Sun. Warrior Baek Dong-soo. Like all of these are big shows. And they have like big actors in them. He has since grown up, right? And he's been in Hotel de Luna from 2019. That stars IU. And she starred in My Mister. And you can hear that episode if you scroll back in your podcast feed. We covered My Mister. My Absolute Boyfriend from 2019. And The Crowned Clown, which is a Saguk. And that's on Netflix right now if you want to watch him in The Crowned Clown. So that's basically our cast. Just two guys playing off of each other.
Pretty
basically.
much.
We do have like a bit of an ensemble cast, but we could talk about that later.
Right.
All this out of the way, what did you think of Beyond Evil, Rico?
So I think this is a very good show. Very good.
Okay.
I think that the acting performances is what really drives it home. The writing's very good as well. I really enjoy the dynamic between the two leads. I didn't think I was going to like it at first because I kind of, his name, he plays Han Ju-won.
Yeah. The younger dude.
He kind of felt like he was too young to be in the role versus his counterpart. Like, I get the dynamic they were going for. At first, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work for me because he seems a little too young. He seems like it's like he's a little green. And then the way they were
Ooh.
trying to sell him was, oh, this guy is overachieved and he's one of the best detectives and he's transferring here. So like the description and his resume that didn't really match what I was seeing on screen. But as the show starts and it starts to develop, you see, oh, this guy is actually good actor.
He's got the chops.
And he's got the chops and he could go 1-for-1 with the other star, Shin Ha-Kyeon.
Shin Ha-Kyeon, yeah.
And so he plays Lee Dong-sik. And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed their dynamic.
Wow.
I really enjoyed Dong-sik. Like, his character, especially in the first half of the show, is just like, you don't know whether or not this guy is actually evil or a villain or a murderer or he's a cop. Like, you don't know because he's playing such a good job of confusing not only the other detective, the new detective, but he's also confusing the audience very well with the way he portrays, like the smile that he puts on sometimes, which is like this maniacal smile. Like, you don't know whether or not this guy is crazy. Like, this guy is giving off just a psychotic person, but at the same time, he's a very good detective. Yeah. And he knows the rules, and he knows how to get by them as well. Mm-hmm. So there are things that he does that he's playing things close to the vest, and he is skirting around stuff, and he seems suspicious. And he does a great job performing that. So to counter having Ha-Kyeon, having him be like this guy who's kind of, it almost feels like he's chasing him most of the time. And obviously we get into things that happen in the show, but their performances work well. And then when they do work together as an actual team, it's great stuff between the two of them. So I really enjoy their dynamic. I enjoyed the story. The show feels more like a thriller first half of the show. And then it moves more into like detective stuff in the second half of the show, which I didn't have a problem with that. I think that's like a good dynamic of having like, because usually thrillers and detective shows kind of go hand in hand in a way. And so I really enjoy it, but I can understand if people really enjoy thrillers, but then the detective aspect for them is maybe not really up to stuff for them, at least. And the way the story gets to its like conclusion, I found satisfying. I found it to be a satisfying way of getting there. Although there's some moments where it drags in that second half of the story where I'm thinking, I don't know where else they can go. And then the final couple episodes, you see it and it's like, oh, okay, so this is where we're kind of building up to. And overall, I found this to be a good show. I enjoyed myself watching it. So that is my take.
It's a very well-regarded show.
Yes.
One of the best shows of
best
2021.
Drama.
Yeah.
Won best drama at an award show. I'm not sure which one it was, but it did win best drama.
Okay. So I had high expectations for this show.
Okay.
I'm going to let you know right now, I didn't like this show.
You didn't like it? Oh, wow.
No. I was like, oh, for sure Rico's going to like this show because it's very much like Signal, right? And you loved Signal from season 1.
Yeah, I did.
So I was like, if there's any show that Rico has a potential to like get through, he won't like not finish like you did on Boys Over Flowers.
That's true.
It's this show. So I picked this one specifically like with you in mind. Let me just say, I thought I was going to love this show. And because of the setup of it, right? It felt like two shows. First half was, like you said, more of a thriller.
Yeah.
You didn't know what was going to happen. Who was at fault? Who was the killer? There was a lot of, doubting these characters that you kind of have come to know. And then in the latter half, it's more of a procedural. And you kind of get to the bottom of some history that happened the 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to give any spoilers away because this is one that I don't want to spoil for people. But that didn't sit well with me. The fact that this basically felt like 2 shows. I was way more invested in the first 8 episodes than when stuff gets resolved and you kind of move on to the next phase of the show. I felt like it was dragging. I felt like they were spinning their wheels. I felt really listless, and it became way more of a chore to finish the episodes for me. Like, I was sitting there like, ugh, like kind of just dreading like watching these episodes.
Wow.
I know. But I will say that I loved Shin Ha-Kyeon's performance as Dong-sik. Like, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I was kept on my toes for most of the show. I didn't know where his allegiances were. I didn't know if he was good or bad. And that was a great thing. I loved not knowing. That was the addictive part of the show. But once you do get to know where he's coming from and what he is, the mystery of that taken away was like kind of felt like a dud to me because that was really compelling.
Gotcha.
The whole show is cat and mouse. The whole show is a cat and mouse chase between those 2 characters and them 2 against the world, basically.
Yeah. I enjoy a good cat and mouse adventure.
Yeah, I know. But there was too much manic laughing in the show for me. Like, characters would just start laughing to break up tension or show bravado in a situation. And that irked me tremendously. I felt like the show ended up being more about money and power than it did about a villain being after blood.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I can totally get it. I totally get that.
And that plays into like the 2 halves of the show and what the goal is for each of the first half and the second half.
This show really reminds me of an American show, and that
What's
is
the show?
The Killing.
Oh,
And
I haven't watched that one.
This is a show on AMC. It has a very similar type of concept where there is kind of like the jaded older veteran detective and now this young brash kind of like with bravado detective. They are joined together to investigate the murder of a young girl. And then as the show goes, there's a lot of like red herrings, and then there's like this cat and mouse game of like, are you involved with this type of thing? And then like some like political stuff like kind of interjects itself into the story. And I kind of felt like parallels there where I think a lot of people who enjoy The Killing, the show, probably enjoy that first aspect of the show where it's like the mystery and the, you don't know who to trust type of thing, kind of like in this version. But then when it starts getting into like, oh, there's like political ambitions involved and stuff, that show also had that mire its second season. So I see a lot of the similarities between these 2 shows. So those who haven't seen Beyond Evil but have seen The Killing, maybe you can see what I'm saying in terms of how similar that could be.
I thought it was going to be a little more like Seven.
Okay.
The movie Seven.
Yeah.
Where you did have that older, more jaded, experienced detective and then a younger, really naive, but smart detective.
Right.
And that wasn't exactly the case at all. Like, I kind of wanted the villain to run the game a little more. and he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Not at all.
No.
I mean, you could say he did for 2 decades, but
well, yeah,
as
but like
far
in terms
as like
of episode count,
hitting against the police, like not really.
Exactly. In terms of episode count, the villain's not really doing too much to antagonize the police.
Yeah.
I
did like that the show wasn't set in Seoul. I love the setting of a small town for the most better part of the show. It's set in this small town. And I love that. I like that also about the other show that we reviewed, When the Camellia Blooms.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're outside of Seoul. Seoul is like the New York of Korea. So anytime you're outside of New York in a Western film or TV show, you're like, yes, oh my God, a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
And that's kind of how it feels like for K-dramas as well.
Oh, finally, not in Seoul.
Finally, we're not in Seoul. And I also really liked the support and camaraderie from, I called it the Moonju Butcher Shop Club. Because they would constantly meet up at the butcher shop. And it was childhood friends, now adults, and how they did sort of hate each other, but joined forces against outsiders and common enemies. And it reminded me again of the town in When the Camellia Blooms, where it's like they're frenemies most of the time, but if some outsider comes in or somebody's threatening them, they're going to unite.
Yes.
And they're going to face it, all together.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic you don't get to see a lot, where people who don't really get along too much, but join forces against a common threat. And I use that as whether it's an actual threat or whether it's just an outsider coming in. But yeah, they join forces like, okay, I may not like this guy, but we definitely don't like you.
Right. But then also how the suspicions surrounding the cases breaks up their friendship.
Yeah.
And causes them to fracture, which is really intriguing to me.
Yeah. It is.
Last thing I'll say, Jin-Goo as Juwon, amazing. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. He's excellent. I think that he is kind of like the Leo DiCaprio of K-drama.
Okay.
And the best years are ahead of him. And look how good he is now.
He is pretty good.
It's pretty amazing.
He surprised me because at first I was just thinking like, I wonder if they got this guy because maybe he's a good looking young guy type of thing. That's what I thought at first, but boy, did he prove me wrong. So I'm glad.
No, he's really good looking. No lie. Like he's got such a beautiful face, like, and his skin is so smooth. Like I still can't quite wrap my head around how like the texture of his face is like flawless. Yeah. And he's always looked like that. Like if you look at him when he's like playing the young version of like so and so.
Yeah.
He looked just like that, only like baby, like the little kid. So hasn't changed. Like that's not plastic surgery or anything.
Oh wow.
He just grew up. Yeah.
Crazy.
I know. It's really cute. It's pretty cute, I think. Anyway, anything else that you want to say about Beyond Evil in a general sense before we get into spoilers?
No, let's go ahead and let's get into spoilers.
Okay, cool. So we're going to get into spoilers for Beyond Evil right after this.
Hey, you want to come in?
And we totally forgot to give our soju scores. So how many soju bottles would you give this show?
Out of 5 soju bottles, I am giving it 4 soju bottles. 4 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I enjoyed this show. Quite
Damn.
a bit. Yeah.
Fair. I will give it 3.
3 out
soju
of 5
bottles. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
It's not the worst watch, but again, not my favorite, and I don't think I would return to it, but I can't deny that it's pretty good. Like, objectively, some parts of it are really good. So there you have it. All right. So now that we're in the spoiler section, I can say that the first half of the show is about catching that serial killer.
Yes.
And
the one who chops off the fingers.
The one who chops off the fingers of his victims, which was so heinous. I was driving down to Miami with my sister in the middle of watching this show, and I told her all about the serial killer, which, FYI, he doesn't exist. This show is not based on a true story, which is great because I thought this was really crazy. So I was telling her about the serial killer who's totally made up for the show. And she was like, and I thought this was kind of a cool thing. She would get a kick out of this because she likes true crime. Apparently she's lost her touch, hasn't watched true crime in a while. She was like, why are you telling me this? This is too much. It's very unnerving and like gross. And I was like, what? I thought this would intrigue you. And no, it didn't. The fingertips, cutting off the fingertips, what meaning did you find in that? Because they never quite tell you why he did that.
The only thing I can think of why he was doing it was just, it wasn't even like a memento, but more like just like a signal that this is me doing it, even though you don't know who I am, just like I am this serial killer. So when you find the body, you know that it was me who did it, type of thing. That's the only reason I can come up with, is that mark who he is.
Okay, so you thought it was like a signature, serial killer signature.
That's what I was thinking. It's the only reason I can think of.
And he was also like wrapping up the feet meticulously so that their shoes and feet were not dirty when they were dug up or found or what have you.
Yeah.
But the fingertips being chopped, all 10 fingers were being chopped off and placed perfectly in a public place. So I thought, because all of the fingers had elaborate nail art and manicures, I was like, oh, maybe he hates like these gaudy manicures with like bling and, you know, all this stuff on the nail. But they never said that. I was like, why are we not talking about why is he doing this? Why is he chopping off the fingers? Like, yeah, you're strangling women, but like, why are you chopping off all their fingers? And then I thought maybe it's so that they can't identify the bodies, but then he was putting out the fingers in public, so then they were identifying the victims. So like it was irking me so bad. I was like, why? Tell me why. Why is he wrapping up the feet? Like, I think
he
was like cleaning the shoes before he buried them. It was
a little weird. I still think that it is because he wants to leave a mark. He wants to let people know that this is his. It's kind of like if you've seen the movie Zodiac, like there's markings that certain killers want to leave to signify to the world that they have committed this crime, you know? Uh-huh. So I just think that that's what he was doing. It's his signature. It's his calling card. So that way, when police find the body, they know, oh, this serial killer has struck again. So that's the only thing I could come up with. And it's the only thing that in this show that makes sense for that reasoning. Because again, it's not so they can't find out who it is, because again, they find the fingers. The fingers are found. So I think it's just a calling card.
Why you say it like that? They found the fingers. The fingers are found.
I don't know why he said it like that.
That's the thing. The thing is that. That's the most Miami thing you could have done.
Yeah, it is. It
reverse
really
the sentence.
Reverse the sentence after I've already said it.
All right, so Ju-won's character comes into the show with misophobia, which is an extreme or irrational fear of dirt or contamination.
Yeah.
Which I thought was going to play a much bigger role in the show. This, like, mania that he has.
Yeah. Especially if, like, they're digging up bodies and stuff like that, you would think.
The first few episodes, they're, like, in the reed field. He's getting dirty and all this stuff. And they're like, get used to it because this is the job. We're going to be, you know, chasing after dementia patients in open, muddy fields. And that's pretty much it. Like, he doesn't seem to have an issue with his phobia the rest of the show until the very last episode where they're serving him food and they're like, oh, he doesn't like using shared objects, like get him a brand new plate. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. And like eats off the plate.
Right. He overcomes it.
He overcomes it, which I didn't like. I thought that was really half baked because they could have kind of done something with it.
Yeah. They just never did. I don't know. They tried to give the character a quirk that it just felt like they never expounded upon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
But I liked when they found the bodies. That was very shocking to me when they came across the bodies in the reed field. And the end of episode 1 was excellent, right?
Yes, it was.
Did you really not kill your sister? And then he turns slowly and smiles at him.
Smiles at him.
It's like sinister ass smile. Loved it.
Fantastic way to start a show.
I know. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like, what else are they going to dish out? But I don't know. I don't think they ever really bounced back from that first episode, which is pretty great.
No, okay. I know.
Well,
that
okay.
You weren't
So
a
here's
big
my
fan of it, but
right. Okay.
I think there's moments for sure.
let me walk it back, because I was shocked in episode 2 when they show him putting out the fingers.
Yes.
I have in all caps, it was him putting the fingers out. Oh my God. My notes are so frenetic. Anyway, that moment was so great to me because it made you really think that he was a serial killer. He killed his own sister. At the very least, killed his own sister.
Right. And the show does a great job of making you believe that.
Yes. Yes. Because they show this tension between the siblings. They're twins, but he's like the lesser twin. The community doesn't really rally around him. She's like a great student and got into a Seoul university. It's a big deal. And he's like resentful toward his sister. You could see it in those flashbacks. So you kind of think maybe he offed her.
Maybe he offed her, and maybe this
he did
entire show is going to be like a cat and mouse where this detective is trying to basically outrun or outsmart the other detective. And you know, maybe that's the show.
I know.
And it's not quite that.
It's not quite that, but they do kind of throw into question everyone else's validity. Like everybody in the Butcher Shop Club is called into question as possibly being a killer. And I really enjoyed those episodes because you're like, man, is it like that fofo that's in the police force who's doing all these weird like jobs? Like he's cleaning his car for him and he's like good friends with the victim. You know, these things run through your mind and you're kind of questioning yourself. Like, is my judgment like as bad as these people? Who should I trust?
Right. Who can you trust in the show?
Who can you trust? Episode 16, they finally reveal that the dad, the mentally handicapped dad,
yes,
killed his own daughter.
Insane.
I was shocked.
I wasn't ready for that to be.
No.
I just wasn't ready for that.
Nope. I was literally on the floor. I couldn't believe there was no way to just explain to you how like completely shaken I was by that reveal because I didn't guess it.
No, neither did I.
Did you guess
No.
it? Okay.
Oh no, not at all.
And then he was faking his mental handicap.
That's how you
or
throw
autism
people off
or whatever
the
it was.
scent.
Right.
Especially as viewers, like
he was like, I think later he said people will believe anything you say if you just stutter a little. What the hell?
Oh man.
Oh my God. Diabolical.
Very well done.
Diabolical.
But yes, I will. Yes.
And he was killing friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was. And
like he's killing people he knew.
Yeah, that's just a crazy sick person. And just kept doing it. And then the cover up is so crazy. Like
the cover up, this is when I think it gets, because here's my thing. You're already just swimming around with the same fish for 8 episodes, right?
Yeah.
And they're calling into question everyone's trust and who did it, who's the serial killer. Okay, it's this fish. Then for the next few episodes until the end of the show, you're still in that same fish tank with the same 12 fish. And it's he said, she said, all the way back 20 years, cat and mouse with all these fish. And you realize that you're kind of getting bored. Like there's nothing, like who else are we going to blame?
So this is
ring around the rosy.
I feel like this show could have done a better job of using like the back half or those few episodes right there, like episodes like 11 through 14, like those episodes could have been like great suspense of some red herrings, like to really build out tension. Like, oh wait, is it this person? Wait, we got it wrong. Like I wish they would have done that, because if not, we wouldn't have had like those episodes of just it almost felt like filler because they have to get to 16. So how do we get it? So we just keep like circling around in the same place that we're in until we have to hit that mark of we're opening a new door and now we have an actual killer. So
right.
Yeah. So if they would have played around.
Yeah.
a little bit with
this show could have benefited from being 12 episodes.
Yes.
First off.
Yes.
100%. Second of all, yes, they could have thrown in a little more deception and for the audience, as not for these characters. And then they could have revealed a little more. But honestly, it was 3 steps back, 1 step forward for 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah, you're right.
And that felt really disheartening to me, as an audience member.
I can agree with you on that.
Because it felt like I was being taken for a ride. Because I've seen these characters already for 12 episodes, and now it's being revealed that they did this and they did that, and they hid this and they paid off so-and-so, and it was just too much.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah. But I did like these villains. Despite the writing being kind of wishy-washy for those episodes, I really like these villains. I think they're proper villains.
They are. Do you want to go ahead and introduce them?
Let's talk. Yeah, I can just. So you had Councilwoman Do-Hae-won, who is played by Gil Hae-yeon.
Yes.
Gil Hae-yeon is the evil mother from Something in the Rain.
Yeah.
And, so you edited that episode. You kind of heard
I heard a little bit of it, yeah.
Yeah. She is the worst in that show. And she is actually the worst in this show as well. Because she basically hated how her son was devoted to his friends. And she covered up what she thought was a hit and run murder of Dong-sik, I think?
Dong-sik.
Dong-sik's sister.
Yep, Dong-sik's
twin sister. She even destroyed evidence, tampered with forensic reports on the freaking guitar pick. The guitar pick, oh my God. She used ill means to become a politician, citing the Munju development as a key corner of her campaign. She was just super ruthless, callous, heartless. And finally in episode 15, I'm rewarded for all of this stuff in the plot. Plot gymnastics, I would call them.
Right.
15, she reveals that she used to lock up her son on the deer farm because she was sick of him and his timidness, how he could never look her in the eye. And when he started exhibiting trauma, saying that he could hear the deer screaming, she felt bad and decided to try being a proper mom. And 20 years later, after all of this shit that went down, she's like, I'm done. I'm not mom material. And she says to her son, from now on, just listen to those deers crying.
Oh, wow. So,
and I was like,
yeah, that is messed up.
I was like, that's a proper
deer cry.
That's a proper villain. She went full Hannibal Lecter on him and was like, do you hear the lambs crying?
See, that's what you want from a villain. Someone to truly root against. Someone who you want to see their comeuppance. And
yes.
Yeah, so I'm glad that they had a villain like this for sure.
Yeah. And then one of her buddies was Lee Chang-jin, who is JL Construction Cane Man in my notes. He is actually played by Ho Sung-tae. He's the face tattoo guy from Squid Game.
Oh, well, I still haven't watched Squid Game.
You gotta watch Squid Game. But we covered Squid Game with your bro, Miguel.
That is true.
So if you want to listen to our thoughts on Squid Game, you can scroll back in your podcast feed and listen to that episode. But Ho Sung-tae is villainous. I think he's really I don't think he's a nice guy in real life because he's so good playing this role, and even the Squid Game role is just terrifying. So this guy, he was a thug. He wanted to be more, get into real estate, construction. He bought up a bunch of land in Munju at a low price, thanks to his police force friend. He was the cleaner for the troop. And by cleaner, I mean he was getting rid of evidence, murdering people left and right. He divorced the violent crimes police inspector lady. He never needed a cane. He was also deceiving everyone into thinking that he was a cripple. He's not. And he tried to clean up Dong-sik's sister's death. But he couldn't. That was a train wreck. the fact that the body ended up back in the serial killer's possession, we could talk about that later because that was nuts.
That's nuts. I don't know how
that was nuts. But Chang Jin killed the good police chief.
Yeah.
Like and then he killed the serial killer by giving him the fishing line so he could hang himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's pretty villainous. That's
no, that's very villainous.
I like
very good
this guy because he's so condescending as well, and he thinks he's smarter than the police, and he knows he has protection. So you just every time he has that smug smile on his face, you just want to slap him.
Yeah, again, a good villain. You don't want to see anything good for them. You want to see the worst.
But to round out this three amigos, we have Papa Commissioner.
Yes.
Played by Choi Jin-Ho. He's obsessed with perfection. And I found this character really cool because he had like this whole complex, right? Like his whole life was leading up to him becoming the police commissioner and rising to the top of the police force. He married a woman that he didn't love. He just wanted her connections. And then he got angry when she became a suicidal alcoholic and he couldn't like control her. So he imprisoned her in a mental institution so he could better maintain his public image.
Good Lord.
This is like a superhero villain.
It really is.
It is. And then he sent his son away for schooling in America. And then he was mad. He got upset that his son didn't turn out more like him.
Yeah, when you send your son away.
Yeah,
how's
when
he going to be
don't
more
spend
like
time
you?
with you. Yeah, exactly. But then he slaughtered Dong-sik's sister while drunk driving.
Yeah.
Pulled strings to tamper with CCTV, collecting evidence, and so his minions could do his bidding. He was an expert liar. You'd love to see it. Like, this is great. I just love, I love to see it even though it's terrible. But I found this character really just disconcerting.
Yeah.
Because he thought he was a good man. You know what I'm saying?
Right. All of his actions in his own head, he's the hero of his own story.
Right. And the other two villains, you kind of get the feeling that they know they're bad.
Right. Not this guy.
Not this guy. He thought he was good.
Delusions.
Yes.
Of heroicness, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the dichotomy, like seeing those two different types of aspects of villains. There's the villains who do nefarious stuff and pretty much know they're getting away with something versus the people who are doing the nefarious things and don't realize that they are doing nefarious things.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he called the murder of the sister. He was like, oh, that's just a small mistake, a very small mistake.
Exactly. That's not villainous material, but it makes for a good villain because it's a guy who believes his own story, his own crap.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then you pair him with his ultra righteous son, who is super naive and has like a one-track mind.
Right.
But understands that his dad sucks.
Yeah.
Fundamentally.
Thank goodness that he realizes his dad sucks, because that type of character in especially in Western stories, I've seen characters like that where they're kind of militant about the way they go about their process and how they have to be perfect. And usually it stems because of their father. And most of the time it's not until like the final act of a story where we see them rebel against the father, and they're like, it's because of you I'm like this, or, whatever. So I'm glad that they actually, have it so that the character realizes that the father's not perfect and he's actually not a great guy at all.
Yeah. I did like that he ended up being the big bad of the show.
That was that was a great
I didn't like the journey, but I liked the destination because the dad was proper.
Yeah, that was a proper way, because that's a good way of tying in everybody into the story. Because if it would have been just like someone on the outside who we didn't really have any time with, it kind of makes it hard to, really invest in like, oh, it was him, or oh, it was her. Like, you don't really get that chance. So I'm glad it was him, and it was him trying to pull strings and be from behind the scenes trying to do all these nefarious things. Those are pretty interesting villains to me, at least.
Yeah. In episode 10, there was a really good moment where he kind of did like a, no, Dad, I'm giving up your dream. But he did it better. He did it better.
Well, yeah.
He goes, because Ju-won says, I'm different from that woman who fell for you, married you, had me, and then died.
That's one way of telling off
like,
your dad.
He went off. He went off on the dad, and his dad just being super neglectful and then trying to control his life and deter him from digging up the closed case. Like, he was like not having it. The kid was like, fuck off.
That's it. It's time for me to live my life.
Yeah. But then in that same episode, the old chief got clipped, and I was like, oh, like it was just like one high, one low.
Yeah.
every episode.
Oh man. No, I enjoyed a lot of the stuff for sure.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite character?
I still think it's Dong-sik's character.
Dong-sik.
Yeah.
What were your favorite scenes with him?
I think okay, so there's the moments where he is being like that crazy, with a grin on his face, where you can't tell whether or not he's the killer. But I believe it's in episode 10 where, damn it, Dong-sik finds out that Yoon didn't die by strangulation, but had numerous breaks in the body, and like the breakdown that he has is actually very good acting. Very good acting, just putting like that emotion behind it. I believe that was in episode. Did I get the right episode? Episode 10 or episode 11?
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
around there.
It's right around there. And I do like a lot of him sneaking around, like keeping things close to the vest, because obviously he's trying. It's kind of hard to describe him because, again, he's a great detective, right? But at the same time, like, he does stuff that's not so good. It doesn't look good on paper, you know? And he's always kind of suspect. Like, he's the way he acts. So I found that very intriguing for me. So it's like a lot of those little moments when you like put them together throughout the story is what really drives me. Is like, oh, why is he doing this? Oh, what is he trying to hide? Like little things like that.
So I just thought of a great comparison for this character. So he reminded me of Lethal Weapon, but instead of it being two characters, like the crazy loose wire Mel Gibson character and the old, weary, almost retired age detective, it's like you mix them both together, and that's Dong-sik.
Oh, you're right. You're right. There is a good mix there of those two characters in him. Because there is like that veteran cop who knows it all type of thing, but also there is that loose cannon of you never know what he's trying to do. You never know what
can't predict his next move.
Yes, exactly. You can't predict his next move. Yes, so you're right about that. Yeah, so a lot of little moments add up to like the greater sum of his whole performance for me.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's really good. Let's talk about how his sister's body ended up. First of all, she got run down by the commish.
By the commissioner.
The end game was she ended up in the basement of her own house, of their house.
Yep.
And I don't think I quite liked that whole thing, because that was like another mystery they had to figure out. Like, how did she get from point A to point Z?
Right. They did have to try to figure that out.
It ended up being that she got run down twice. The second time, they came to clean up, and JL Construction had her in the back of like a car and was going to deal with her some way. And our serial killer was watching the entire thing, saw her get run down initially, saw her get run down the second time, and then saw what they were going to do to dispose of her body, and then stole the body from them.
Right. So
I don't think that was a good, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that didn't ring as like a great way to resolve that whole mystery, because it seems like they wrote it in, right? They were like, oh, she was in the basement the whole time. And then
when it
how did
comes
she
time,
get
how'd
there?
she get there?
Yeah.
Right. And they couldn't think of a good way, so this was the only way they could like figure out.
The serial killer stole her body from out under them.
But for what? Exactly. Like if you're thinking about it,
he didn't bury her in the same way that he did the other ones.
No. So it's not like he's like. It didn't feel like he was trying to take credit for it, but like, why do it in the first place? But still
decided to put her fingers out in their front yard.
That is true.
So like he didn't miss that deadline.
No. No, he didn't. Like, I'm going to get my calling card off either way. I didn't do it.
But black and blue and red all over. Didn't miss the card.
Nope.
Didn't miss the joke. It's like the Riddler. That's a Riddler joke for the Batman movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then he kept the body for a while, because it wasn't until Dong-sik went and served in the military that he did some construction work on their boiler room and then buried her in there.
Right.
Bricked her up in there.
Yeah, bricked her up in there.
So, I mean, like, what?
For what purpose?
For what? Yeah.
I still don't know why.
Was that like a form of respect? Because he said he was like very proud kind of the fact that he didn't kill her. He kept insisting, no, I didn't kill her. I returned her to you.
I mean, I don't see how that's returning her, but okay. Sure. But no, that doesn't make sense to me as to why he would take the body. It just doesn't make sense. Especially,
and it wasn't his kill. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's not his kill. He's not even accepting that it's his kill, even though he does his own calling card for it. But yeah, you're right. Like, there's no reason for him to take the body. But the writers probably wrote themselves into a corner of like, what a cool idea would be if she ended up in the basement. And then once they got to that point, it's like, well, how does she end up there? And so then they had to kind of like write themselves into that. And and a lot of times things like that don't work. Like there have been shows or certain things where you can see where a writer is kind of writing themselves into because they have an idea and they want to go there. But then the way they get there doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And
this is kind of what happened there.
Well, I think I've come to the end of my notes. I just have this like quote from episode 11 where they like pour one out for the chief. And they do his like signature toast where he says like, got money? And they're like, no, sir. In good health? No, sir. Anything to live for? Let's drink. And I thought that was really cute.
That was a touching tribute. So
for sure.
Yeah. In the end, these two like detectives, grow respect for each other. And
they do. Yeah.
They do. And I was expecting that. I was hoping for it, and we got it. So for me, it was, somewhat of a happy ending, even though somebody goes to jail.
People died.
People died and people went to jail. But otherwise, other than that, there was still
the Chevy cars that were everywhere. That product placement.
That was some heavy
Let me just say
placement.
I have never seen a Chevy car in a K-drama before. This was my first one. I was like, do they have Chevys in Korea? This was surprising.
That is a truly American car, an American company, GM. So I highly doubt that they're sending GM cars over there. So this is a great hey, let's introduce the Korean population.
Well, this is bold. This is bold. I'll say one last qualm that I had for the show is that, like I said before, it ended up being more about money and power than it did about the serial killings.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. It just it was more about also trauma responses to violence against women. And it felt a little disrespectful to focus on the story of male police officers, both corrupt and righteous, who didn't much care about the victims. The only people who really cared about the mass of women who were killed over the span of 20 years was Dong-sik, who was only in it to find his sister,
Right.
and the butcher, who was only in it to find her mother. They were directly related to the victim.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, no one else seemed to, like, kind of process that this many women were killed.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So it felt a little like in poor taste.
I wonder if it would have felt different if one of the main characters maybe was a female detective.
Well, there was a female detective.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. There was. But
they kind of dumbed her down too because she was so connected with the JL construction guy.
Yeah.
Who was her ex-husband.
So I mean, as in one of those two leads was a female detective, and maybe she could have been the one that she's not just doing it because she's a detective, but because she sees the problem of so many women being neglected who this happens to them all the time. And she has like it feels personal to her, even though she doesn't have like she's not a victim, or, she doesn't have someone that suffered through one of these, but she feels the cause that a lot of these girls and women are being neglected and forgotten, and she feels a cause to that. Maybe that would have been a way of going about it.
There's also an angle here where a lot of the women were disenfranchised, illegal to the country, and they don't really kind of go into that either, that he was grabbing people who wouldn't be missed and grabbing people who were greatly missed, who were personal to him.
Right.
As well. Friends for him.
So
they don't really go into that as well.
They could have explored that in those 3 episodes that we were talking about.
I would have loved to know, like,
what was the rationale?
What was the rationale for this wide MO?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say is that in regards to kind of like the female perspective of this show, which is largely absent.
Yeah, it
is I watched this documentary on Netflix called The Raincoat Killer that, anyone can watch it at this point. It's, I think, Korea's first serial killer, if I'm not mistaken, like the first one that actually made headlines. And they call him the Raincoat Killer because if you haven't noticed by now, in Korea, they had or have this weird thing where if they get a suspect, especially a killer, they will parade them on the grounds of the serial killings. What's that called? The crime scene.
The crime scenes. Okay.
They will take them on like a pilgrimage to the crime scene and have them like say details how they did things, try and jog their memory. And it's kind of like weird because we don't have that here in the States where like they take the guy back to the crime scene for whatever reason. And so they did that for the Raincoat Killer, and it was a rainy day and he was wearing a yellow raincoat. And that's why they call him the Raincoat Killer. Not that he killed these people in the rain.
He was just wearing the yellow raincoat.
He was wearing a Raincoat Killer when the press got these crazy photos and like footage of him.
I see.
On this pilgrimage. Anyway, and in this documentary, they had this female CSI who was talking about how they were desperately trying to get fingerprints off of these decomposed bodies to identify the victims, and how she did this one print countless times. Like, they gave the number and it was this insane number, how the sample kept getting messed up because the victim was decomposing and there was fluid and she couldn't get a good fingerprint. And the way that she told the story and how emotional she got and how she was like praying with the victim, like, please let me help you. Let me, please let me get this print, whatever. And like spending time with the victim and being very personal with a victim that she had no idea who it was not connected with, but she felt compassion toward the victims who were unidentified at that point. And her story and how she told it was so emotional to me. It made me cry. And there was none of that in this show. And it could have made the show even greater.
I will totally concede that for sure. What was the name of that? So people can...
Oh, The Raincoat Killer.
That's the name of it. And where can people find that?
Netflix.
Okay. So if you want to get a little history there, check that out on Netflix for sure.
Yes, it's very emotional, but I highly recommend it. It's nuts. So I think with that being said, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about? I'm good.
No, I'm good. I think this is a very good show. Very good.
Nice. I am so glad that you enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much, but I will concede that it's got its merits.
Yeah, it has its merits for sure. For sure. And
For sure.
I think that if you like thrillers and if you like police procedurals, this is you definitely could do worse than this. This is a very good one. But there's some bad shows out there that try to be police procedurals and they're just bad. So this is a good one.
Yeah.
This is a good one. For me, it's a good one. So
nice. I'm so glad you liked it. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Rico, because it's special when you're here.
Yes.
Now in this time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was good being back. And we'll look forward to seeing what other shows I could try to hop on here if I can.
I know, man. You got to try.
Of course.
Well, thanks so much for listening, guys. Again, if you want to stay up to date on everything that we're doing, I run wild with our social media accounts. You can find us pretty much everywhere at ATC Daebak Pod. And if you want to support the show, please, we would so appreciate it. You can support the show on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. And you can find that link at patreon.com/alwayscriticpod. And you can always buy us a cup of coffee as well. I just started a coffee for ATC Daebak, so that you don't have to subscribe or anything. It's not a monthly subscription. It's just however much you want to tip us. Buy us a coffee, whatever you want. And that link is also in our bio and in the show notes. So I think with that being said, that's been our show. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Rico, and this has been the ATC Presents Daebak K-Rambles Podcast.
잊으려고 애써왔던 것들, 잊고 살아왔던 말들, 소용없다 믿던 것들, 너무 많은데